It was supposed to be just another quiet studio conversation to well-known men sharing thoughts, maybe some laughs, and then going their separate ways. But from the moment Vin Diesel entered the room, there was a sense that something deeper was about to happen. They began with light-hearted banter. Steve cracked a few jokes about his early days in stand-up comedy, the times he bombed on stage, and how laughter saved his life more times than he could count. Ving smiled, nodded, and responded with stories from movie sets, stunts gone wrong, ridiculous wardrobe choices, and the sheer absurdity of pretending to be a hero on screen while privately struggling to find peace. Ving took a deep breath and said, "I've played a lot of strong characters. Tough guys, warriors, but in real life, there were moments I couldn't even get out of bed." The room fell silent. He spoke of losing Paul Walker, the pain of watching a friend or brother vanish without warning. He recounted the guilt he carried, how he kept wondering if he could have done something differently. "People say time heals," Ving said softly, "but time just teaches you how to carry the weight differently." Steve didn't interrupt. He leaned in, nodded, and let the silence do the listening. Then gently, he responded, "God doesn't promise we won't suffer. He just promises we won't suffer alone." Ving shared how one night, sitting alone in his trailer, a clip from Steve's morning show popped up on his phone feed. It was just a short clip, Steve talking about resilience, and how if you're still breathing, it means God's not finished with you yet. "Man, I don't even know why I clicked on it," Ving admitted. "But those words, that exact message, was what I needed at that exact moment." Ving opened up further about growing up in the rough neighborhoods of New York, raised by a single mother. There was never enough money, but there was always enough love, he said. And sometimes that's all a kid needs. He spoke of the anger he used to carry, how it hardened him, how over time he realized that true strength wasn't about lifting weights or throwing punches, but about letting go. You either let the pain turn you bitter or let it break you open, Ving said. And being open hurts more, but it also heals more. Steve nodded, deeply moved. "People don't see that part of you," he said. "They see the cars, the muscles, the box office hits. But pain, that's the great equalizer. That's what connects us all." Ving pointed at the small cross pendant around Steve's neck. "My mama used to wear something just like that," he said. "When I was a kid, I thought it was just jewelry. Now I know it was armor." They began talking about faith, not in the institutional sense, but in the personal, soul-saving kind. Steve shared that during his darkest moments when he was homeless and hungry, it wasn't just prayer that saved him, but the belief that someone, somewhere, still saw value in him. Sometimes, Steve said, faith is just choosing to stand back up when everything in you says stay down. Ving recalled a fan letter he received from a young man who had been in and out of foster care. The boy wrote about how watching Dom Toretto, Vin's character in Fast and Furious, gave him a sense of belonging. He said, "I looked like someone who had been through fire but didn't burn," Ving said, his voice trembling. "I cried, not because I felt strong, but because I knew exactly what that boy was talking about. Steve wiped a tear and said quietly, "Sometimes we don't even know the lives we're saving just by showing up." They talked about purpose, about how pain often becomes the compass that leads us to it. Veng said something then that made even Steve pause in thought. Maybe our scars are just road maps. Maybe they're not signs of what broke us, but of where we were rebuilt. The room had grown heavy with emotion, but also with peace. Two men who had suffered, stumbled, and survived were now offering each other the kind of sanctuary only the wounded can share. Then, Steve said, "If I ever doubted whether this show mattered, this moment just proved it does." Veng leaned forward, reached out, and shook Steve's hand not as actor to host, but as soul to soul. "You helped me find my voice again," he said. "And I promise I'll use it to remind someone else that they're not alone."